Guys, I hope everyone's well and doing okay. So I've had a few requests to do some videos on a hip exercise or hip opening exercises. So it's something I love to do, so I'm more than happy to do that, but I think it's something that a lot of other people like to do as well. We end up holding a lot of tension in our hips for many different reasons, often because we're doing lots of other exercises anyways, or maybe you're in a job where you sat down a lot and you start to build up some tensions there. Maybe at the moment you sat down more than you would usually, so we're building up that tension. It is also believed energetically that we hold emotions in our hips as well. So that can mean that when we're building up lots of emotions, they start to store in this area and it gets tight. So it's a really nice thing to do to start easing it out and then opening them back up. But anyways, as I said, I love to do hip exercises, so I am more than happy to do this video for us. So I'm going to take us through a nice little sequence, nice and simple. We'll warm up the body, we'll get some breathing done as well, because it's so important. It's important no matter what exercises you're doing, it's going to help your body respond a little bit easier. But yeah, it's really, really nice to do. So I'm going to start with some nice gentle breathing just to center us in and just to calm us and just to collect us ready for the practice. So find yourself somewhere nice and comfortable, nice space. Come down onto your yoga mats or your blanket, your towel, whatever it is that you're using at home. Find yourself in a nice cross-legged position and start with relaxing those shoulders down, softening and just coming into your body to prepare for the practice. I'm going to find a nice long spine. And then together, we're going to start taking some gentle settling in breaths. So what I want you to do is inhale and take those arms out to the side. Gather that breath up towards the ceiling or sky, wherever you are. Hands to a prayer and exhale down in front of our chest. 2 more of those. You're going to inhale, take those arms out to the side. Coming up towards the ceiling. Hands are going to come to a prayer. And then exhaling down in front of our chest. And then one final time, inhaling, taking those arms out to either side. Arms up towards the ceiling. Hands to a prayer. And then exhaling down in front of our chest. Keeping the hands there, relax those shoulders, long spine. Just take a moment for yourself. Taking some breaths. Settling in, maybe setting yourself an intention and finding a moment's stillness. Wonderful. So now from there, feel free to join in with me. I'm going to be bowing my head down so my fingertips can touch between my eyebrow space. And I'm going to set off with a little prayer to send out to the collective, to the world right now, just to send out some love, some healing and some well wishes. So feel free to join in with me, bowing my head down so the fingertips touch. And just mentally sending out that prayer, anything that feels good for you. And just sending out love and healing and well wishes. Wonderful. And then releasing the hands down to the ground or down to the knees. Lovely. So I'm going to go through just a few gentle warm-ups before we really start getting into our hips. I want to start with a nice twisting posture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to straighten out my left leg. I'm going to bend in my right knee. I'm just starting to twist, starting to open up. If we've been starting stagnant a lot, it's really nice to start easing into our bodies this way. So I'm going to take my left arm around my right knee and I'm going to start twisting around to the right. So twisting is really, really good for our immune system, but it also starts moving us in directions that we may not always do. So you're going to inhale to lengthen up, keeping a long spine, and I'm going to exhale and twist towards the right, and my right hand's going to come down to the ground, and I'm just going to gaze towards the right. Just the first twist will be nice and gentle, and just take some breaths there. Wonderful. And then release and to come back round. I'm going to straighten out my right leg. I'm going to do the same on the opposite side. So bending that left leg. Taking now my right arm around that left knee. Inhaling to lengthen up. And then exhaling, twist to the left side. Gazing towards the left and just taking some breaths there. And then exhaling to release, come back round, and then straighten out that left leg, sorry. So now I'm going to pick up my right knee and right foot again, so bending the knee, bringing the knee close to the body. And we're going to go through something that's going to start warming up in our hip joint. So I'll just give that bell a moment so we can hear the town hall clock behind us. If you're in the Barrow area anyways, lovely. So from there, what we're gonna be doing is essentially what we call rocking our babies. So it seems a bit daft and a bit fun. It's a bit fun as well, but it seems a bit daft at first. But you're at home, don't worry about how it's looking. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our right arm to come round our right knee, and then our left hand's gonna pick up our right foot. And you may have the leg far from the body, wherever feels good for you, or you may start walking or bringing the leg towards the chest area. Activating that left foot to protect the body, and then from there what we're going to do, so as if you were cradling your baby trying to rock it to sleep, you're just going to start rocking from side to side. So that's going to start easing into that hip area, starting to warm up, find some movement to prepare to start working into those hips. Wonderful. So now from there, releasing the leg down, I'm going to straighten out that right leg, and I'm going to do the same again on the opposite side, so bending that left leg. Taking the left arm around the left knee, taking the right hand to pick up the left foot, bringing it either close to the body or further away, wherever feels best on your body today. Activating through that right foot, and then preparing to rock those babies to sleep again. So just rocking side to side, long spine still, and keep connected with that breath. Wonderful. And then release. Perfect. So I'm going to bring my knees round now. I'm going to come to an all fours position. Taking my hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to just go through some gentle movements just to ease into the back as well. It's all connected, all important. So hands are under the shoulders and knees have come to hip width distance apart. And we're going to go through some cat-cow. So to do this, I'm going to inhale and drop my belly and take my gaze up. And then exhale to curve the spine up in the opposite direction. And then once again, I'm going to inhale, drop that belly and take that gaze up. And then exhale to curve that spine up in the opposite direction. And then again, inhaling to drop that belly. And then exhaling to curve the spine up. So just moving through a few of those in your own time. Easing out into that back. Just warming up. Maybe rocking a bit back and forth. Making it your own. Finding those sticky areas. Wonderful. And then coming back to a nice flat back position. So from there, I'm going to do something to ease out in my calf area, but this also is really, really good for the lower back, so that obviously links right through. It's the whole body that's connected here, and it's just warming up and opening to prepare for some more of the poses. So I'm going to take my right leg back and drop the toes down to the ground. Keep a nice long spine and find that gaze slightly in front of us. And then from there, I'm just going to start rocking back and forwards on my toes, just to ease out in that calf area. So make sure that spine stays long and that gaze is just slightly in front of you. Activating through that core here as well. You're getting a nice little extra stretch, extra work. Wonderful. Wonderful. And then coming back to stillness. From there, I'm going to inhale and I'm going to start taking my right leg over to my right side, to as far as it wants to come. And I'm just going to take my gaze around to the right toes and just find a stretch. So in the side body, but also the hip. So starting to ease into it. And you're just going to take some breaths there. Lovely, and then exhale, bring that knee back round to neutral. So preparing for the opposite side, so I'm going to take my left toes back this time, drop the toes down to the ground, active core, gaze is slightly in front once again. And then from there, we're going to start rocking on those toes, easing into that body again. My squeaky mat. Wonderful. So now from there, once again, I'm going to take my left leg now over to the left side as far as it wants to come. Find that stretch again. So inhale, taking that left leg open, taking my gaze around to my left toes, and then again, just taking a few gentle breaths there. Wonderful, and then exhaling to release, to come back round. So now from here, we're going to come to a nice active child's pose. That's really going to start helping in our hips as well. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our knees out wide, our big toes are going to come to touch, and we're going to start bumping our hips back towards our heels, but the bottom may stay up, or it may work down towards the heels. Either is fine. And then you're going to lower the upper half of the body down towards the ground and walk those arms out long in front of you, and just ease into the body. Take the forehead down to the ground, and then you're just going to take some nice gentle breaths there. Wonderful. So now from there, I'm going to inhale, start coming back up to all fours, bringing my knees back under hip width distance, keeping my hands slightly in front of the shoulders now, preparing to come up to a nice downward facing dog. So we're going to tuck our toes, and we're going to activate through that core, and we're going to inhale and start peeling the hips up to a nice downward facing dog. Maybe walking one heel down, then the other, maybe moving from side to side, easing into the body. Wonderful. So now from there, I'm going to inhale. I'm going to take my right leg forward so the foot can come to place in between the hands. Feel free to use your right hand to help guide it along. And then I'm going to drop my knee down to the ground. Find myself in that nice low lunge position. You want to check that your right knee is over the right ankle. And then we're just going to find a nice stretch here. So we can either come up off our hands and have our arms out to the side for balance, if that feels best for you and it's the best stretch for you today. Or maybe come down onto those fingertips. Or maybe take the palms of the hands down to the ground, long spine, gaze forward and take some breaths there. So we're starting to ease into that body, into those hips. Wonderful. So now from there, I'm going to inhale, pick up that back knee. I'm going to take my right leg back again and come back to that downward facing dog, preparing to do the same on the opposite side. We're taking a breath there, easing out again. And then I'm going to inhale, take that left leg forward, drop that back knee down to the ground. Finding yourself in that nice low lunge, making any adjustments, making sure your knee's over the ankle. Maybe coming off those fingertips, maybe coming on the fingertips, or maybe taking the palms of the hands down to the ground, gaze forward, long spine, and take some breaths there. Wonderful. Now inhale, pick up that back knee. We're going to take that left leg back to travel back and back into that downward facing dog. Easing out. Wonderful. And then once again, inhale, take that right leg forward. And now this time we're going to move our right foot to the outside edge of the mat so the right hand can come to the inside of the knee. So now we're coming to this is what we call a lizard posture. So if you want, you can drop that back knee down to the ground and just find that right foot on the outside of the edge of the mat, hands on the inside of the knee. Or you can keep that back knee up just to deepen slightly. Whichever feels best for you today, though, be kind and gentle to your body. Now we're finding a long spine, gaze is forward. We're just going to take a few gentle breaths there. Now, if that's feeling good for you today, feel free to take that right hand to the inside of the right knee and just gently ease open, just to add a little bit extra onto the hips, and just take some breaths. And then inhale, bring the knee back. Taking the hand to the outside of the right foot, shuffling the foot over, planting the hand. You're going to take the right leg back into that downward facing dog. And then once again, we're going to inhale, take that left foot forward, and then shuffling the foot forward over to the outside edge of the mat, taking the left hand on the inside of the foot and the knee, finding our alignment, long spine, gaze forward. Maybe dropping down that back knee, being gentle to yourself, doing what's best for your body today. Taking some breaths there. And then if we want to, taking that left hand to take place on the inside of the thigh and just pushing open gently and taking some breaths. So you'll come onto the outside edge of that left foot. Wonderful. Now planting the hand, shuffling the foot back over, bringing it to the inside, and the left hand to the outside of the left foot. And then you're going to inhale, take that left leg back again. Just easing out. So just stay in that downward dog. I'm just going to grab my blocks to show us the next move. So I'm just going to grab those blocks. Wonderful. So if you're practicing at home and you don't have any blocks, you can use maybe some cushions, maybe some books here, a towel, anything like that. And it's just going to be to lift our hips up. So we're coming into what we call a pigeon pose now. So what I'm going to do is, so listen really carefully for this one because it's a complicated one. So we're going to be bringing our right knee towards our right elbow to start with, and then just bringing the left foot to the opposite side of the mat. So to the right foot to the left side of the mat, sorry. And we're going to be dropping our right knee down towards the ground. You're going to activate through that right foot to protect our knee. And we're going to start shuffling our left leg back, and we're going to start sinking our hips down onto our right leg. And what the intention is to try, so I'm going to take our left toes out flat behind us, is to try and take our right hip down towards the ground while still keeping our hips squared. And then we'd come onto our fingertips, find a long spine, and then gaze forward, and we'd be active through our core. But because our hips are tight and sore, it's hard to keep those hips square, so then we can start causing some misalignment, start hurting our bodies. So making sure we're keeping that right foot active to protect our knee, what we can then do is take a block, a blanket, anything, a book or anything like that, and we can take the block or whatever you're using underneath our right bottom to lift our hip up, and then realign ourselves and come onto those fingertips, and then we can find that long spine, relax the shoulders, and then gaze forward. So making sure that back leg is staying aligned, it's staying straight, it's not either the thigh is staying straight, it's not it turned to one side or the opposite side. We're keeping it nice and aligned to protect our body, and then we're gazing forward and we're taking some breaths there. Wonderful. So now from there, to go a little bit deeper, if we want to, you can just stay here. You can start coming to what we call a sleeping pigeon. So to do this, you can keep the block there if that feels best for you. Listen to your body. We're going to start walking our arms out long in front of us, and then we're going to sink down and just lower our upper body down towards the ground. Take that forehead down. It's going to add some extra pressure to that right hip and just ease out, and then we're going to take a few breaths there. Wonderful. So now, planting into those hands, if you're down on the ground, you're going to inhale, activate that core and bring that body back up. Bringing the hands back towards the knee. Pressing into those hands, we're going to pivot and bring our knee back, come up off our right hip and bring our right foot to come back underneath in line, so we're in line behind us. Planting in those hands, we're going to tuck the back toes, pick up that back knee, and then we're going to take our right leg back to come back into that downward dog. Now be really kind and gentle to yourself when you do this, so you're protecting that knee right throughout. And then back to that downward facing dog. Wonderful. So now preparing to do the same again on the opposite side. So we're going to start taking that left knee towards that left elbow, and then the left foot's going to come over towards the right side of the yoga mat, and then you're going to lower that knee and leg down to the ground. You're going to start taking that right leg back this time, to take the leg as far back as we can, to start sinking those hips down towards the ground area. But this is where things may start to get fussy and tricky. So make sure that left foot's active to protect ourselves. And then once again, take whatever you're using as a block to come underneath that left hip and bottom area, just to lift the body up. And then you can find that nice alignment, active in the left foot, and lift the body up, keeping that thigh in alignment, toes flat to the ground, long spine, and then gazing up. Gazing forward, and taking some breaths there. Wonderful. So now once again from here, we can come down into our sleeping pigeon if that feels good for you. So keeping active in that left foot, you're going to start sinking that upper body down over that left leg, taking the arms to walk out long in front of us and just start lowering that body down, sinking the chest down and then taking that head down towards the ground. And then again, you're going to take some breaths there. Wonderful. So now inhaling, pushing into those hands, lifting the body back up, walking the hands back towards the knee, preparing to come back up. So we're going to inhale, lift up that hip, shuffling forward a little, taking that left heel to align back in line with the knee, and then planting the hands, tucking the back toe and preparing to come back to that downward facing dog. So just lifting the body up, lifting the knee up, taking that left leg back and then back into that downward facing dog. Wonderful. So now from there, you're going to step to come towards the top of your yoga mat and find yourself in a nice forward fold position. Bent knees if we want to, feet at hip width distance, whichever feels best for you and is going to be nicest to your body today. And then I'm going to inhale, take my arms up, gather that breath up towards the sky. Hands to a prayer, and then exhale down in front of our chest. Wonderful. So I'm going to start taking us into a yogi squat. So this is also really helpful to open up those hips. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to step my feet slightly wider than hip width distance apart. And then I'm going to pivot on my heels so my toes can face out to either direction. Now I just want you to imagine a baby. So if a baby was running around and it was to pick something up, often it'll sink its bottom down to the ground and try and pick it up that way. We bend forward usually now and do it that way. But traditionally, people still do this sometimes in some places in the world, in some natives, in some cultures, they actually do still use this position to do things like cleaning, washing up, that kind of thing, depending on where we are in the world. We're in a totally different part. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be bending those knees and we're trying to sink our bottom down towards the ground. But we may get to so far and then that feels enough for us, and then we can take a variation. It's completely up to you. We've got to be nice and gentle and kind to ourselves. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our hands to a prayer position. We're going to inhale, relax our shoulders, and then on an exhale we're going to start bending those knees. The knees are going to come out over either foot, and then bending those knees, and we're going to start sinking that bottom down towards the ground. So you may get to here and that feels enough, and if so, you can just take those arms out in front of you and just have a play around there, maybe moving from side to side and just easing out that way. Or if the body's allowing today, we can start sinking those hips down a little bit further down towards the ground. You may then be up on your toes, be gentle. And then if it feels good, you're going to then walk the inside of the thigh to come to the outside of the arms. The hands will be in a prayer position, and then you're going to find length through that spine, taking a nice breath, and you're just going to push those knees open and just find some stillness and some breaths there. But as I say, if this isn't feeling good for you and maybe you're up higher, you can be up here and then just rocking a little bit from side to side, easing out. Or you may even be down here and easing out to find some movement in the hips. But if the body's allowing and it feels good for you today, feel free to stay in that stillness, palms in a prayer position, pushing the legs open, sinking that bottom down and taking some breaths there. Or maybe you even want to have a play around with going through a few of them, whatever feels good on your body. Wonderful. So when we've had enough from there, I'm going to take my hands behind my bottom and I'm going to come onto my bottom, and then I'm going to straighten out through my left leg. My right foot's going to stay on the outside of the left thigh. And then from there, I'm going to drop my right knee over to the right side, and come to what we call a half butterfly pose. So your knee may be up high, it may come further down. Anywhere is fine, just be nice and gentle to your body and be kind to yourself. The right foot may be on the outside of the upper thigh, or it may be slightly further down the left leg. Wherever feels good for you and is going to be kind and gentle. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking a folding position. So to do this, you may want to bend in that left knee to fold to be kinder to your back, because it's more important that that spine stays nice and long. So we're active in our left foot. We're going to inhale, take our arms up towards the sky, and then we're going to exhale, long, long spine. I'm going to start folding over that left leg. The hands may come to the upper thigh, down to the calf or down to the ankle, and then you're going to take some breaths there. Wonderful. So now when you're ready, you're going to activate through that core. You're going to inhale and take those arms out long and bring that body back up. Hands to a prayer and exhale down in front of our chest. Lovely. So now what we're going to do is open up our left leg out to the left side as far as feels good for you. Maybe just rocking a little bit in that hip at first. And then you're going to bring that right heel towards the groin area. And we're going to be folding again forward in front of us. Again, feel free to bend in that knee as much as we can, as we like, to protect our back if it feels better for you. So we're nice and active in that left foot. We're going to inhale, take our arms up towards the sky, and then we're going to exhale and start folding forward, hands down to the ground. And then maybe we've just come a little bit, or maybe we're walking out further. Long spine, protects the body, and take some breaths there. Wonderful. So now you're going to activate through that core. You're going to push the body back up, and then you're going to walk those hands back towards the body. Lovely. So now we're going to straighten out that right leg, and we're going to do the same again on the opposite side. So bending in that left leg, taking the foot to the outside of the right thigh to begin with, and now allowing that left knee to drop over to the left side. The left foot may be up the top of the thigh, or maybe slightly further down, wherever feels best for you. You'll probably find that one knee wants to come down more than the other. I find this side does. You may find this side's harder. We're all different, and we have different things in our bodies, and our bodies are not fully balanced, and that's completely normal and fine. It depends on which side is more active, or if we've injuries or anything like that. So we're going to be folding again over our right knee. So you may want to bend in that right knee to protect yourself, to protect that back. Or if your body's feeling okay today, you can keep that right leg straight. So once again, we're going to inhale, take our arms up towards the sky, and then exhale and fold over that right leg, hands either to the thigh, to the calf, or maybe down to the ankle. Long spine, and then you're going to take some breaths there. So now so we want to protect through that neck as well. So depending where you're at, if you're up here, you keep that spine straight. Imagine that length through that spine. If you're down here, again, it's still straight. And if it's here, again, still straight. We don't drop the head down or gaze up too much. Wonderful. So now activating through that core, we're going to inhale, take our arms up and bring that body back up. Hands to a prayer. And exhale down in front of our chest. We're going to open our right leg out to the right side, maybe moving a little bit in the hip just to ease into it. Take our left heel towards our groin, and then we're going to be taking a fold again. Feel free to bend in that knee to protect ourselves. So once again, we're going to inhale, take our arms up, And then we're going to exhale and fold forward. Hands to the ground, maybe just a little bit, maybe walking out further, maybe coming onto those forearms and just sinking down and taking some breaths. And then activating through that core, planting into those hands. Inhale, bring that body back nice and long. Then walk those hands back up to bring the body up. Lovely. So now from there, you're going to take that right foot to meet the left, and we're coming into what we call a full butterfly pose. So our feet can be together, and we can have a nice diamond shape, nice wide shape, and the knees dropped out to either side. Or we can start bringing those heels towards our groin if the body's allowing. So hands are either on the calves, or if they're coming slightly closer, we can take our hands onto the ankles or interlock our fingers to take them around our toes. Our thumbs come to touch the big toes. I was going to say big thumbs. Finding length through that spine, relax the shoulders, and then we're going to just start gently flapping the wings of our butterfly. So our knees are going to come up and down. It's just getting some more movement into those hips. So you can do this if we're close to the groin, or we can do this if we're further apart. Hands onto the calves. Be nice and gentle and kind. And you're just going to take some breaths there. Wonderful. And then we're just going to come to a nice stillness. Lengthen through that spine and just take a few breaths. Wonderful. So now be mindful of those knees. We're going to bring those knees back up. We're going to straighten those legs out, and we're going to start working our way down onto our mats to finish off. So we can just ease ourselves down, or if you want to, you can just add a little bit of a core activation. So we can be active through our feet, straight legs, take our arms out and just ease that body down to the ground. You're going to bring those knees in towards your stomach, taking the hands either on the knees or behind the thighs or in front of the shins, and give yourself a nice squeeze, maybe a rock, just easing out from the work we've just done. And then dropping those feet down onto the ground. We're going to come into that butterfly pose again, but lying on our mats now. So we can drop both knees out to either side, the soles of the feet come together. We can have a nice big gap, nice wide big diamond, or the heels can come closer. We're just starting to ease down now though, so just be soft, be gentle, relax those shoulders. Take the arms out to the side, palms face upwards, and just start taking some gentle breaths there. Wonderful. So now you're going to inhale, bring those knees back up. You're going to take your feet about the distance of your yoga mat. I'm just going to do a counter stretch for the stretching we've just done on our hips. So what we're going to do, inhale, long spine, and you're going to allow your knees to drop over to the right side of the yoga mat. So keeping the feet at the distance of your yoga mat, knees have come to drop to the right side. And you're going to take your gaze over that left shoulder, and then if it feels good for you, you're going to pick up that right foot and place the foot on the back of the left
knee and thigh area, so just behind the knee. And then gaze over that left shoulder and just take some breaths there. Wonderful. So now you're going to release that right leg, placing the foot down on the ground at the distance of your yoga mat again. And you're going to inhale, take those knees back up. And then you're going to exhale the knees over towards the left side of the yoga mat now. Taking that gaze over your right shoulder, keeping the feet at the distance of the yoga mat. And then if it feels good for you, you're going to pick up that left foot and place it behind the right thigh on the upper side. And then you're just going to take some breaths there and just ease out. Finding some space, some stillness now. Coming down. Wonderful. And then releasing that left leg. Inhaling to bring the knees back up, and we're going to start taking those legs out long to come into our final relaxation, so into our Savasana pose. The arms are out to the side, palms facing upwards, the toes are going to drop out to either side. Just relax the body, relax the shoulders. If this isn't any good for some of you on your back, please feel free to bend in the knees and allow the knees to drop together. Be kind, be gentle, be soft with yourself. Allowing the toes to drop to either side, relax the shoulders, and you're just going to start taking some gentle breaths there, just softening, noticing how the body's feeling now. How are those hips feeling? They're starting to ease out. So I encourage you to stay here for as long as time allows, just to allow the body to catch up and take in what you've just done. Thank you very much, guys, and namaste.